Welcome, collectors and diecast enthusiasts. Thank you once again for joining me for another episode of Diecast Emporium. In today's video, we're going to be unboxing and doing a quick review of both the Spec-Cast BC1000XL brush chipper and the Spec-Cast CTX100 mini skid steer. Both of these Vermeer models are brand new releases, and you can get them from your favorite authorized distributor. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know very much about either one of these machines in the real world. So, I'm sure that I will get some of the technology wrong, so make sure all the rivet counters that are out there don't bash on me too terribly hard. Alright, let's start off with the CTX100 mini skid steer. Initial impressions. This thing is tiny. Very, very tiny. Now, obviously, it's a mini skid steer. You would expect it to be somewhat small. However, I was not prepared for just how actually tiny it really is. But again, I'm not expecting too much in terms of functionality or detail, because bear in mind all the different modeling compromises that have to go into making something this small. We'll start off with the packaging, as we always like to do. Ages 14 and up, 1 to 50 scale diecast metal replica, the Vermeer logo with the V, and then your CTX100 mini skid steer. On the side, you have Vermeer equipped to do more, and on the back, there's a very nice picture of the real machine at work. As you can see, this machine is operated by a single operator in the standing upright position. I also have a 1 to 50 scale figure. We'll give this a run for his money and see if we can fit him behind and adapt a realistic display pose. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. It is important to keep in mind that both of these items are under $40. I believe the skid steer I paid $32 for, and the brush chipper I think was like $37 or $38, somewhere around there. Decent value for the money. Certainly worth the while if you want to add to your 150 scale construction collection with a couple different very specialized vehicles. So here's the mini skid steer. There we go. And it's so small that I doubt many of the details on here will come through, but I will do my very, very best. So we'll try and focus it in a little bit more. Looks like that's about as good as we're going to get. Alright, so the real machine does have rubber tracks. So does the model. You can see CTX100 here, Vermeer on the arm. Coming around to the front, you have Vermeer up here as well. Allow me just a moment to get this to focus. That would be somewhat helpful. There's the Vermeer logo. Here's the different operators' controls where he would stand behind. You can see that there's actually hydraulic lines on the arms. This cylinder on mine has been installed somewhat awkwardly. You can see it's angled off to one side, but that's not that big of a deal. Over here, same thing as we saw before. On the back, this is where, again, the operator would stand. You have your cushion pads here for your legs, your hips, that kind of stuff. This black piece is probably where the machine owner's manual would go, and obviously it's service history. It's just an assumption. Again, I don't know much about these machines in real life. Underneath, very little to write home about, but you can get a good look at the tread pattern on the rubber tracks. As for the functionality, it appears to go up that high, which is somewhat reasonable given the scale. And the dump angle is also respectable considering the very small scale that this mini skid steer is. Alright, let's put it for the test. I have a 1/50th scale operator figure here. Let's see if he can fit behind. Yeah, no way. Not even going to fit there sideways. So, that's probably a bit unrealistic. That opening probably should be scaled a little bit wider. But still in all, you could probably cheat and get away with a display that looks like that. Maybe he's tired of having his legs and hips and things, being sworn around. So maybe he's outreaching and operating it this way. Again, not very realistic at all. But hey, what do you want? Alright, the next model that we'll take a look at. This is the BC1000XL brush chipper trailer. Once again, we'll take a look at the packaging. 1 to 50 scale diecast metal replica, recommended 14 and up for age, Vermeer, and the name. On top, same thing. On the side, equipped to do more. And on the back, there's a picture of the trailer hooked up to a brush truck, and I'm slightly distracted by that amazing, spectacular house in the background. Underneath, Vermeer logo, 14 and up. Here's this if you need that, manufactured by Spec-Cast and made in the People's Republic of China. right, let's unbox it. Do have to say, it's very welcome that these don't have twist ties. There you go. There's the trailer. Initial first impressions with this are I'm quite pleased with the paint finish, aside from this very noticeable chip. But what would a wood chipper be if it didn't have a chip on it? Here's the back. This is obviously where your branches and such would go in through the machine, and then they would be discharged into a truck or into a pile out of this device, which is called the chute. You can angle the chute left or right or straight ahead. For transport, you can close the back of the wood chipper up like that, which I think looks really good, and that's engineered quite well. And this orange piece, again, does move slightly as well. As for the front of the machine, you have a little hitch here that can go like that. The jack stand can be lowered by unthreading it on the screw, but unfortunately, even when it's fully retracted, it's not going to sit even with a lot of your hitches in 150 scale. For example, I have a Sword F250 pickup truck here, so we'll put him on here. And as you can see, this is what I was talking about. When it's fully retracted, it's still sitting on the ground. It's not high enough to raise it up. But if you're putting this in a diorama, behind glass, or on a shelf, the two look really good together. And it will be very interesting to see, of the various well-known custom model manufacturers, how many different chip boxes are made for pickup trucks and also for large dump trucks, considering that this trailer and this chipper is large enough to accommodate both a truck, pickup truck, and a International Durastar chip truck like you saw on the back of the box. So there you go, guys. That wraps up my review of the two latest Vermeer models by Spec-Cast in 1:50 scale. Gotta say, out of the two, I'm more impressed with the chipper. I think there's a lot of different display imposing opportunities, and really it's going to look really, really good in a proper land clearing diorama, or even being towed behind a vehicle. As for the mini skid steer, again, pretty cool to have one of these in 1/50 scale. When you talk about regular size skid steers, most of the time those are made in the larger 125 or 132 scale. So again, very nice to actually even have a sample of a mini ride behind skid steer. If you do have a couple of the other Vermeer models, the smaller ones anyway, you can make a pretty nice looking display shelf. So here is the Navigator, the DCP Vermeer Model D33x44 Navigator, which again, that has been previously reviewed on this channel, so look up that video if you want to see it. There's the other side. And then you also have the old Joel V-8550 Trencher, which this has also been reviewed on the channel. So if you're interested in watching those videos, just search Diecast Emporium Vermeer, and all the products will pop up. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these two models. Would you like to see more compact equipment made in 1:50 scale? And maybe what else from Vermeer would you like to see made by Spec-Cast? Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll see you in the next review.